So Gareth Bale is injured again. The Welsh winger has been plagued with injuries, with a groin issue now keeping him out of action just days after returning to training. His minutes played per season has decreased every season since 2015 and is now permanently labelled as injury prone and thus having a negative impact on his Real Madrid career. So with Bale on the injury list once again, let's take a look at the most injury prone 11 in football. In goal we've got Craig Gordon. The Scottish stopper has been the immovable object at Parkhead since joining Celtic in 2014, but that wasn't the case during his time at Sunderland. Gordon suffered a knee injury midway through his second season at the Black Cats, and then the following season he broke his arm against Spurs, which is a bit of an issue for a goalkeeper. In the summer of 2010 he re-broke the same arm, and then a tendon injury to his knee saw him undergo surgery on that and an anterior cruciate ligament injury. Released from Sunderland in May 2012, Gordon didn't play for 2 years due to his knee problem. At right back it's Ryan Taylor. He may have been a cult hero at Newcastle because of his Derby Day winner against Sunderland, but the majority of Ryan Taylor's time at Newcastle was dogged by injury. First up it was an ankle ligament injury in late 2010, then in 2012 he did his cruciate knee ligaments. After a year out he suffered the same injury, meaning Taylor would go 26 months without playing. Another knee injury reduced him to tears in November 2014, but fortunately this wasn't as lengthy a layoff, returning in February the following year. At centre back it's Ledley King. Considering how good Ledley King was during his career, it's crazy to think how much better he could have been had he been able to keep fit. Only once in his career did King appear in all 38 Premier League games, only playing more than 30 times twice between his debut in '99 and retirement in 2012. Unfortunately for King, there was no cure to his knee injury because there was no cartilage left, meaning his knee would swell up after a game, leading to days of recovery and rarely being able to train. He's alongside VINCENT KOMPANY. Over the past few years, VINCENT KOMPANY must have smashed his fair share of mirrors because he's had absolutely no luck with injuries, with setback after setback ultimately costing Manchester City due to their inability to defend without the big man. KOMPANY has hardly been a consistent figure in the City back four since 2012, with various different muscle injuries stopping him from playing, with the latest being a calf muscle strain. At left back it's Thomas VERMAELEN. Another Belgian and another fantastic defender on his day, Thomas VERMAELEN has had zero luck with injuries. First there was ruptured ligaments at Ajax, then an Achilles injury in 2010 that ruled him out for 8 months. And this was all before he joined Barcelona in 2014, where a thigh problem plagued him since arrival. The Belgian is still with Barcelona and has already had 3 different injuries this season. In midfield it's Jack Wilshere. Poor Jack Wilshere. England's next big star in years gone by, a case of what could have been had it not been for an injury record longer than your mother's shopping list at Christmas. It all began with a broken ankle in the summer of 2012 that kept him out for 17 months, before needing surgery in the summer of 2013. Next it was a hairline fracture in his foot, then ligament damage in his ankle, and then a broken leg in pre-season of 2015 that ruled him out for 10 months. He spent last season on loan at Bournemouth where he suffered a hairline fracture to his fibula to end the season, and he's now working his way back into Arsene Wenger's first team, with the next injury probably right round the corner. Next up it's ABOU DIABY. A hat-trick of players who suffered injury woes at the Emirates, ABOU DIABY was the ultimate sick note for years in North London. Once compared to the great Patrick Vieira, injuries meant that Diaby made his own history at Arsenal, and not for the better like Vieira did. The midfielder was already struggling with injuries at Auxerre before he joined Arsenal, and the theme remained the same by the time he made the move to the Premier League. The first injury at Arsenal was a severe ankle fracture after a tackle from Sunderland's Dan Smith that needed 3 surgeries to repair. Once Diaby returned there was a thigh injury and various other muscle problems, a torn ACL and then a lengthy hamstring injury before he was released in June 2015. Diaby joined Marseille in 2015 and the injury problems didn't go away, and now he's recovering from ankle surgery and without a club. The poor bloke. Our third midfielder is Owen Hargreaves. Everything was great up until 2006 for Hargreaves. He'd just been named England's best player at the 2006 World Cup, and since then it's all went tits up for him. A broken leg was pretty much the beginning of the end for the Canadian-born midfielder, which led to various other problems due to his leg muscle now being weaker. A move to Manchester United just made things worse for Hargreaves, with patellar tendonitis his biggest cause for concern. He would have multiple surgeries on both knees to try and save his career, but it was no use, much to the annoyance of Sir Alex Ferguson. After his release, YouTube videos were posted by Hargreaves to try and prove his fitness, but he retired in 2012 after a year with Manchester City. Up front we've got Daniel Sturridge. Since late 2013, we've hardly seen Daniel Sturridge on a consistent basis. The forward has been in and out of the treatment room, nursing injury after injury rather than scoring goals. First there was torn ankle ligaments, then a thigh injury, then a calf problem, another thigh injury, before a hip injury ended his season. Returning the following season, Sturridge hurt his knee, picked up another hamstring injury, but still ended the season as Liverpool's top scorer. Since then it's mainly been a hip problem plaguing Sturridge, and it's a shock that Jurgen Klopp kept him as a Liverpool player over the summer. Next up it's Andy Carroll. Another story of what might have been. Carroll's had lengthy injury after lengthy injury since joining West Ham. At Newcastle he ruptured his ankle ligaments and suffered from thigh injury, but that's nothing compared to what's happened at West Ham. The big striker's had a hamstring injury, knee injury, problem with his heel, a fractured foot, torn ligament, cracked knee, another knee problem and then a groin injury, with 6 separate injuries keeping out for more than 100 days each time. And finally it's Gareth Bale. The man who inspired this team, Gareth Bale, rounds out our injury-prone 11 as he nurses another injury that was sustained while recovering from a totally different injury. The Welshman missed 17 games with an ankle problem last year, and he's missed 33 games due to a calf injury since he joined Real Madrid. It's hard to remember what a fully fit and flying Gareth Bale is like because it's been that long, but will we ever see the Real Madrid number 11 back to his frightening best? So that's our injury-prone 11. Let us know who makes your team in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.